It's review and gratitude for 2022. It's February 15th, 2022. That was our very first episode. We've been doing this for less than a year. What a journey. We've had 32 guests in 30 episodes. We've done 30 episodes so far. Who would have thought? Our guests have been from all over the world. We're so proud of that. From 19 different countries. Been from Africa, from Senegal, from Ghana, from Kenya, from Nigeria, from South Africa, Morocco, Ivory Coast. They've been from Asia. Been from India, Israel, China, Singapore, from Europe, Greece, Ireland, UK, France, Chile, and South America. In North America, we've had guests from here in the US, but also one person speaking to us from Mexico. We've also had a couple of guests from Australia. Now, we really appreciate each and every one of these guests who's generously given us their time. We have been so fortunate to be able to tell the stories of so many of these esports entrepreneurs around the world who are all doing great things. They're doing big things. Without a roadmap and without asking for permission, they're blazing a trail. So what have we learned? Well, we have learned a lot. But if you had to put it in categories, we probably learned the most about events and tournaments, teams, venues, growth strategies, servers, always servers, government support, content, marketing, institutional esports organizations. But we also learned about education, community building, and even talked to some professional players. In season 2, Follow the Money, we talked to people about sponsorship, investment, merchandising, streaming, and other monetizing strategies. But the number one topic that we wanted to cover in all of our episodes was talking about jobs and the role of esports in creating jobs. Now, there's so many stories to be told around the world, and the opportunities are limitless. We've only just scratched the surface on the stories. But each of these people that we talk to, they have been creating jobs. And those jobs make a difference to the person that's getting it. What are the kinds of connections that we made here, the Gamers Change Live podcast in 2022? This is actually the fun part. This is where the podcast can make an impact. We've connected sponsors and marketing agencies in Europe with esports entrepreneurs in Africa. We've initiated discussions with esports tournament organizers and teams with potential investors in Africa, Australia, and around the world. We've helped sponsor esport teams in Africa traveling halfway around the world to take their place on the world stage. And we've spoken to top executives at some of the best-known esports brands, bringing them the message that esports truly is a global phenomenon and no one should be left behind. But we're just getting started. Our message has been resonating with a global audience. On social media, we've reached over 3.6 million views on Facebook alone. 3.6 million, who would have thought? And our TikTok videos have reached thousands of viewers, and we're just getting started. Now, I have to give a big shout out to the team here that makes this possible. First is Reginald in Ghana. So lucky to have come across him, and he raised his hand and started working as the person who's out there getting guests on a podcast that did not exist. It's like, if you want a tough job, it's like you try to book any guest on a podcast that has yet to exist. And he did it with flying colors. Really good job. I would not be here if it wasn't for Reginald. So thank you, Reginald. Winky does our social media, also out of Ghana. And it's like, just go look at her videos. They're on social media. They're amazing. We look so much better on social media once that Winky came on board. So thank you, Winky. Winky, also in Ghana. Winky is the graphics guy. It's like, just go look at our logo. Just look at our logo. It's like, wow. It's like we're in a completely different league than we were last year. Winky makes us look good. Thanks, Winky. And I also have to give a shout out to Richard Butler here in the US, who's the audio engineer. We send Richard some pretty dicey audio and he makes us sound good, and he does it every single time. So thank you, Richard. I also want to give a shout out to Chowe in Zambia. She was a very early supporter of the podcast, even maybe before Reginald was on board. She was so generous with her time and her contacts that we wouldn't be here if we had not made that connection. So thank you, Chowe. So we've also worked to create a community, because just like an esports enterprise, it takes one to make a podcast successful. If there's one lesson above all that we've learned from our guests, is that the importance of building a community. and a community of guests, fans, and supporters from around the world have made us a success in 2022 and will carry us into 2023. So that brings the question, where should we go in 2023? We have a few more episodes of season 2, so watch out for those as they come out here soon. But what's next? This is where we want to hear from you. Go to social media, you know where we are, and tell us. Go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to YouTube, go to Twitter, go to TikTok. Extra points if you create a TikTok video. But tell us, what are the stories that could help you on your esports journey? We don't want to do this alone. We want your help. Let us know. Thanks again for a great 2022. We cannot wait to get started on 2023. It's going to be great. This is Tom Leonard, host of the Gamers Change Lives podcast. Play games, create jobs, change lives. Thanks.